Hello, my name is Beth Dixon, and this is a short podcast on how to use the calculator and to answer some basic questions. This one is on some basic terminology that we will use when we're discussing the calculator. One of the first ones that is not intuitive in using the calculator is the phrase home screen. And the home screen is that screen where we do our calculations. That's just the basic screen, and so we call it the home screen. And that's the one where we do our calculations, where we do 5 plus 3 to get 8 and 256 divided by 16. One of the other things that I want to talk about is when you first get this calculator, it's a little bit different than those basic calculators that we were used to years ago in the fact that it doesn't have an equals key, it has the enter key. And that enter key is in place of the equals, but it has so much other functionality that they've changed it to an enter key. As opposed to just an equals, because it does more than just tell you what something's equal to, because it also lets you enter data, it lets you enter equations, and lets you do a lot of things like that. So as well, it lets you enter. So it is also your function. It functions as the equal when you're on the home screen, but because it lets you enter data and say yes, that's the uh, the data you want to enter, or that's the expression you want to enter, they changed it to enter. They wanted to be fancy, maybe. Um, I'm not sure, but that's the function for it. Now, when we're doing other things with this screen or with this calculator, we have two other buttons that help us use the keys here. Because we can't put a key for everything we need, um, you'll notice that each key has words above it, and those are color coded. For mine, I have a blue key and a green key. The second key will let me get all the blue words. And there's a whole other podcast about how to do second quit to get out of menus. But second, then matrix, second, then second, and then list one will get me list one. In this case, I can't do it because there's nothing in list one, but second and list three, I think, prints out my list three. That's not something you need to know how to do necessarily, but it gets me that word list three. The alpha key gets me anything in green. Um, the alpha enter gets me alpha solve, which we use in a couple of menus for some of our later classes in Calculus A, as well as in finite in a couple of places in using a finance key. Um, we can use the second key to get pi, second, and then use the up arrow there to get pi, because the pi is blue, and that will give us pi, 3.141592654, and so forth and so on, to get pi, and we use the blue key to get there. Now on my calculator, they're color-coded blue and green above the keys. On some of the different models, they're color coded yellow and green. So it just depends on your calculator. And sometimes the keys are in just slightly different places than on this calculator, but that doesn't make a lot of difference. You just need to kind of adjust to where there are. One of the big differences is where the matrix key is located from one calculator to the next, uh, versus the TI-83 versus the TI-84 Plus. So there's some just slight differences in the models, but their basic functionality is the same. Um, One of the other main things that I want to talk about in this basic terminology podcast is, and I'm going to clear this screen off, is the menu driven feature that this calculator offers. This calculator is menu driven. And by that, I mean that the functions of this calculator are reached through menus. And I'm going to just concentrate on one basic menu, and that's under the math key. And when I hit math, it gives me 4 menus. It gives me the math menu. I can reach the number menu by arrowing over, the CPX menu, which is a complex number menu, by arrowing over, and the probability menu by arrowing over again. So we can reach these menus by going over. And then I can reach anything over on these menus by selecting either the number of the item or by arrowing down to that item. Now, to get out of this menu, I can either press clear or second quit. So I'm going to press clear. And then we're going to go back to that menu. I'm just going to show you a quick example on that. Let's do 5 raised to the 3rd power. So I'm going to go 5. Then I'm going to press math. And number 3 is that power of 3. And it gives me 5 cubed, or 5 to the 3rd power. And that gives me 125. Now, there are other ways to do that other than using that math menu, but I wanted to show you that as an example. And again, that's 5, math, and I can either arrow down to number 3 and press enter, or when I hit math, I can just choose number 3. Either way, arrow down and press enter, or when I hit math, just type in the 3. Either way works. And then once I'm back to what I call the home screen. Sorry for waving my hands there. And then just press enter. Math. And if I wanted number and then like absolute value, again, I can just press enter or 1. Then the absolute value of negative 125.25. And then enter. And that gives me the absolute value. So those are a couple of examples of how to use our menu-driven keys. And if you have some other questions, look through the podcast, or if you can't find the answers on the podcast, feel free to drop by room 222 in the Math and Behavioral Social Sciences building, and we'll be glad to give you some help with your calculator. And again, my name is Beth Dixon. Thank you.